Or of who the hell did I rent from? All right, so let's talk about the lawyer. When we originally spoke to the lawyer, he was kind of like, I'll send the email for you, I'll negotiate it for you. We ended up forwarding him the full 5-page letter that we'd written to our landlord outlining everything that had happened. And when he read that, our lawyer called us and was like, when it comes to court, the person with the most credible and the best story wins. And he was like, this story is insane. Like, he said, I can't say 100% that you'd win, but I think 99% of people are going to side with you on this. I think that you are in a good position. And originally, our lawyer had actually told us that we should ask for a lot more than we did ask. Even things like getting repaid for the Airbnb or paying us back for like the cleaning. We could have asked for it, but I just felt like we wanted to choose peace. We just wanted our deposit back and we just wanted to get the hell out of that house. So our lawyer reaches out to the landlord, and the landlord, his whole tone immediately changes. Like, night and day, his tone changes. As I said, the first thing that he did the day that our lawyer emailed him was he took down the listing of the house where our tenancy was due to be up on August 15th, and they were advertising it as available from August 1st. So that was taken offline. To me, the timing is suspicious. I think that they were doing something sneaky, and they knew that if that was taken to court, it wouldn't look good for them. So he reaches out to my husband and he's like, please, I've been having family trouble. I haven't been trying to take advantage of anyone. Can we just talk between the two of us? It was so funny because the main thing for my husband was the principle. He was like, I want this guy to know that we were going to give him 2 months rent and prorata it, but it's because that last month he refused to prorata it after everything we'd been through that we have come to this point. So my husband was like, I'm really sorry, like we want to go through the lawyer. I had done the checkout report and stupidly not taken a picture of it. And so I asked my lawyer, I was like, should I ask for it? Like, what do I do? The lawyer had advised me to ask the landlord for the checkout report. So in my mind, I'm like, the lawyer told me to ask for the checkout report. The checkout report should not change. Like, we have done the walkthrough, we have signed the checkout report. Like, there should be no issue sending me the checkout report. So I write to the house manager who did the checkout with me, and I said, hey, is there any chance you could send me the checkout report? No response. The next day I said, hey, gently bumping this up your inbox. And he said, you'll have to speak to the owner about that. So I was like, fine. So then I go to our group chat and I said, hi, I've asked the house manager for the checkout report. Is there a problem with him sending that to me? And the landlord said, you'll have to ask through the lawyer. And I'm thinking, this is so stupid. Like, I know that he's trying to be difficult at this point. It's fine. But again, it's just like, we've done a checkout report and I'm getting vibes of like, is he going to try and change the checkout report? Is he now going to say that we damaged the house? Like, is he going to lie? Like, I was nervous about that. That's why I wanted the checkout report to have like a paper trail, finally to have a paper trail that we'd left the house in a really good state. So our lawyer spoke to the landlord. The lawyer said that it was very clear from his conversation that the landlord knew that he was in the wrong and that the landlord was kind of trying to make excuses, and the lawyer was like, look, this is no longer a problem for us to solve. This is a math problem. Like, you need to figure out how much money you're going to give my clients, which I love. Like, I am so glad we got a lawyer, because that whole negotiation, for sure we would have been in a weaker position if we'd done it ourselves, because our emotions would have gotten in the way, and because we're nice people. Like, this is not the kind of people that we are to threaten to take someone to court. And bear in mind that this guy worked in real estate, so he 100% knew the law around renting. He knew where he had dropped the ball. He knew that he'd put us in a position where we were very strong if we went to court, and we could have gotten a lot more money from him. I have friends who said that we should have taken him for everything that we could have, but honestly, that's not who we are, and we just wanted to close that chapter and move on. And again, like, it was mostly about the principle. We were willing to lose the 2 months rent and the prorated month, but ultimately we thought if he wants to play by the rules and he wants to read the contract, we'll play by the rules and we'll read the contract. And actually, he was in the wrong by a lot of what went down. I was really proud of myself, because I felt like throughout this whole experience he was extremely condescending to me. I've said this before, but like, it really rubbed me wrong when he told me like, we're all grown-ups here, because that to me is such a, like, it's saying, oh, you're a little girl, we're all grown-ups here. Like, the whole vibe of my conversations with him, as I said before, the way he spoke to me, he would never speak to my husband. So I was so proud that while we had the lawyer executing the plan, I was very much the mastermind, like reading the contract in depth, working with ChatGPT, which, as a side note, is an amazing resource if ever you're in a situation like this. Everything we were doing, I was asking ChatGPT, if this were to go to court in Florida, what likelihood do you think we would have to win the case? We copied and pasted the whole 5-page letter into ChatGPT and asked for ChatGPT's input. Like, it was extremely helpful. I had my Ella Woods moment, and I was very proud of myself for kind of masterminding it all. Ultimately, we ended up negotiating with the landlord that instead of us paying him 3 months rent, he would pay us 2 months rent. We didn't have to pay an early termination fee. We did lose that 1 additional month, so technically we got 1 month back if you factor that in. But overall, we were just happy to put it behind us. I'm so proud that we read the contract and stood up for ourselves and just stopped letting this guy walk all over us, because throughout the whole thing, we felt like we had no power. So it felt really amazing to take our power back and stand up for ourselves. I still have some cognitive dissonance about the whole thing, because when I think back to the landlord that I met when we first moved in, he was so nice and charming, and I have to remind myself of the things that he did and the lies that he told, and you know, it's just amazing how the two don't match. But I have to really like hold him accountable in my mind and remember like he really messed up, and we were the ones who had to pay the price, like literally and metaphorically. Every turn it felt like he was really trying to take advantage of our kindness. So we learned a lot from that experience. For one, we learned to get everything in writing. Even if you have a conversation with like a landlord or whoever, like follow up via email afterwards and say, hey, as per our conversation, and capture what you talked about. 2, document everything. I regret that I don't have more photos of the way that they left the house for us, of the Airbnb we were in. Like, I wish I'd captured everything, but I just didn't even think. 3, read your contract. There were so many points, like there's so much more to the story that I'm not going to go into, but there were points where I was seeking other people's advice, and I wish that I had just sat down with my contract and read my freaking contract, because I knew more than the people around me who I was asking advice from, as it turned out. And the last thing I will say is that if you're in a situation like this, do not be afraid to lawyer up. Our lawyer 100% was worth it, and as I said before, like we definitely were able to recoup more of our expenses with him, even including his cost, than we would have without him. So yeah, that's my story. I hope that it was at least entertaining for you, because I'll tell you what, it's a great story. It's less fun to actually live through it.